attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and packs. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Sorry, Momo. Midoriya says, turning his head, as he hands them back to her. Kind of confused. I don't understand. I was supposed to take the smallest object you had on. Well, had on you. Don't you have your phone? Your... anything? Yeah, I also do have that stuff on the table over there. Her turning back around, and you can see everything, along with actually looking into her other pockets. Wait, her pocket's empty. Her going to check her other pockets. Her phone's not here. Checking her sports festival uniform, or her PE uniform, and going on a state. This doesn't make any sense. I don't have my phone. What? So, it must have been a fluke then, right? I don't know. Meanwhile, Mineta comes running up, asking Midoriya how the hell did he do that? Hey, I wasn't trying to steal those. Mineta going off on a tangent, talking about how Midoriya has the best quirk ever. Now, after, well, Midoriya goes to train with other people, and the day continues on. Eventually they do break for lunch. Midoriya trying to explain what happened to everyone, since they were confused. Now, a couple of the girls, they're kind of laughing at it, but they're also kind of making fun of Momo. Meanwhile, as for the guys, they think Midoriya might have done it intentionally. And you do have Deanne, who actually does get up and shoot Midoriya with Invasion. As soon as the, well, beam hits him in the head, she goes on stating that Midoriya did not intend to steal those. Deanne! What? No one was believing you. Well, either way, I don't know why I took them. Damn it. The bastard tricked me. He knew this would happen, didn't he? Now, with that, Deanne does one thing. She takes her silverware and puts it in her pockets, before actually leaning over to Momo and whispering into her ear. Momo making something and putting it in her hand, or at least a couple objects, before she does one thing. She slips 2 coins into to her right shoe, or let's say 2 quarters, and, well, some money, into her other shoe. A paper bill, and at least some silver coins or gold coins into her pockets. Basically, different sized objects. Before standing in front of everybody and telling Midoriya to simply just try and steal something again. She's not going to tell him what she has on her. And in fact, she'll make this easy. Closing her eyes, and think for 1 second. Midoriya's quirk, the way he activated it and the way it was triggered. The other him, well, copy of him, said it was whenever someone was alerted to him. So she simply just doesn't pay any mind to him. Then it should work, right? 2 minutes later, same situation. Midoriya is holding a different pair this time, and Deanne is embarrassed to hell. Midoriya is very ashamed of his quirk. Now, let's just say over the next couple days, Midoriya is told to train this ability, even with its weird effects. However, it's a different story. The girls are not being alerted to Midoriya this time, and he is actually able to, the next day, properly steal something that isn't one of these items. Being able to take a silver coin from somebody. That was easy. Now, after that did happen, we will cut to later on in the night. Or at least the remainder of the time for the camp. The night where Class 1A or Class 1A and Class 1B are going to be doing the, well, what is it? Through the forest thing. What was it? Scaring challenge? Midoriya decides not to participate. In fact, he actually does go to his tent and say that he's going to go to bed early. People call him a party pooper, but he doesn't really care. Now, after that does happen, Midoriya, he heads to his tent. When in reality, he's actually going to be sneaking off somewhere. Now, some time will pass, and everyone is actually going throughout their day. Some people are going through the forest and getting scared, others are not. Now, let's say Mina is the one to do this. She is dared by one of the other girls to actually try and make sure, or at least sneak into Midoriya's tent and see what he would do. She was the one who recommended the idea, but after basically everyone turning it on her, it did not work out very well. The original idea was to make Ochako do it because she would be very embarrassed. Somehow it got flipped. Now, whenever Mina did try and do this, she found that Midoriya's tent was empty. Kind of confused. Now, she did hear some noise nearby, and actually follow the sounds. Walking into the forest, and eventually coming upon, well, a small scene. Midoriya, he's holding a bowl. And he's actually pulling out what looks to be some pieces of meat. And then there it is, Midoriya holding his hand outstretched. Well, Mother Fox is taking some of the meat from Midoriya. And there are her babies. Mina kinda confused. And she actually does decide to not intervene. Midoriya continuing to feed the mother, along with actually grabbing one of her paws and beginning to inspect it. Now, Mina watches as Deku tries to treat the injured fox and make sure that the babies at least don't have any injuries. Now, after that does happen, Midoriya, he actually does stop after he smells smoke, looking up and very confused. What the hell? Smoke? That being confused, something that confuses him. However, it does not last long, especially after mustard gas begins to roll in. Now, Midoriya begins to start coughing and having trouble breathing. Meanwhile, the fox, she grabs two of her cubs and tries to run off. Midoriya bending over and grabbing the third one, trying to sprint away. Now, as soon as Midoriya is able to get to a safe distance, he puts it down. The mother fox being able to actually grab her other baby and try and run away, trying to find a place to hide. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, he tries to rush back into the area to figure out what's going on. He encounters the mustard gas guy, and after the mustard gas guy does see Midoriya, it's kind of confusing. He's wondering exactly what this guy will do. So, I heard that you're immortal, but I'm curious. Can you breathe in this stuff? Or is it just painful? Midoriya not saying anything as he just simply just coughing up and vomiting blood. The mustard gas guy getting very close, before pulling out a firearm, and deciding to see if Midoriya truly cannot die, putting the gun barrel directly to the back of his head and pulling the trigger. Surprise, surprise. He dies. Now, the guy doesn't think much of it. Meanwhile, Midoriya, he actually does get back up, before simply just throwing his hands upwards and smashing the guy directly in his chin. His gas mask getting sent flying along with him. Midoriya using his quirk to grab the mask out of the air before simply just putting it onto his face to take a deep breath. His lungs finally being able to actually start piecing themselves together. Now, after that does happen, Midoriya tries to run back towards everyone. So this low-level villain was all that was going on here. Just attack attack the forest and that's it? This guy's an idiot. Now, this is whenever more things begin to happen. The Pussycats announcing that Koda is missing, and that he needs to be found. Now, Midoriya, he hears this. Crap. Where's that kid at? Midoriya hearing a loud sound, followed by, at least, the wind pushing in his direction really hard. As soon as Midoriya does notice that, he actually does go to figure out what's happening, beginning by running his way through the forest. Now, Midoriya begins to use Boost Magic. I believe I've explained what this magic is, but for those of you confused, it basically allows you to boost your physical speed, not your physical strength. Now, Midoriya, he just starts to run through the forest, and find out where everyone is. Crap, there's more than one villain. Wait a minute, is this the League? Don't tell me, no. Now, Midoriya does eventually find Moonfish. However, the situation is a bit different. The Duplo Arms guy is not here. So I want to say that it's actually... Yeah, that does work. It is actually just Tokuyami and Jiro. Whenever they were fighting against this villain, the villain was actually able to injure Jiro, possibly damaging one of her earphone jacks. Now, whenever Midoriya did find them, Tokuyami was going apeshit. Apparently, she ran away, before at least holding up, and her hand saying that it is covered in a little bit of blood. Midoriya seeing this and actually telling her to let him see that. As soon as she does hand it over to him, Midoriya immediately just bites down into his wrist, hard. A massive amount of blood pouring onto his hand. Midoriya then actually just bringing it up to her earphone, or at least her earlobe, and tracing his hand over it and seeing what he can do. Holding the piece together for a second before, at least, doing something that might be a bit weird. He actually does let a little bit of saliva from his mouth, into his hand. He has a theory. From what he's researched about, human biology, saliva is just blood that has been filtered. So, this might actually work. Now, as Midoriya does actually hold this in place, it does actually begin to somewhat heal. The steam coming off of the earphone jack, before at least a scar begins to form. Kyoka, she's immediately just happy and thankful. All that stress about what would happen if she lost one of her jacks, that was very just freaking her the hell out. Now, Midoriya begins to at least get up a high. Kyoka launching up in the air so as to let him get a better view. However, there's something else going on. Kendo immediately just uses full size, and begins to enlarge herself. Along with that, looking around more, you can actually tell what's going on. Another telepathic message being sent. Apparently, Class 1A is divided. Some students say that they're defending, well, other people. Others are saying that they're defending or at least trying to take on a villain. Now, after Midoriya does actually find Moonfist, Moonfist tries to attack Midoriya. Midoriya being impaled throughout his entire body, along with Moonfist trying to actually take him down. Midoriya is simply just using his arms and bringing them up, smashing down into Moonfist's teeth over and over again, breaking them. And you do have Tokuyami. Tokuyami is taken care of by Bakugo and Todoroki. Meanwhile, you do also have the large blast going off more and more. Now, Midoriya is trying to take care of a lot of villains that are in the forest. And this was one of them. He needs to find out what's going on over there now. Midoriya being able to leap up high into the air, along with his boost magic. Whenever he does get airborne, he actually does see what's going on. There you do have Kendo smashing down into something, along with the fact that punching sound, or at least what sounds to be, well, Kirishima. Now, Kendo, she's immediately just knocked backwards. As soon as she begins to go backwards into the tree line. Midoriya is seeing that. As soon as he actually does jump past her, he immediately spins back around, and using his steel ability, telling her to shrink down now. As soon as she actually does begin to do so, Midoriya is able to grab her and force her in his direction. Her losing all of that weight in a few seconds, and immediately being pulled towards Midoriya. As soon as she actually does get to as soon as her and Midoriya do get to each other, she and him go smashing into the ground. Midoriya and her getting back up, him asking what's going on. Her just saying that it's a villain and he's strong. Midoriya running over and seeing what's currently happening. There is Muscular and Kirishima. The two are battling it out with just one single punch, or at least one single arm. Kirishima is holding his ground with 100%. However, he's quickly losing it. All of those muscles quickly actually just beginning by hiding Kirishima's body. Midoriya immediately just running in. Now, as soon as he actually does do that, there is a loud sound. And Midoriya immediately just gets blasted directly through his back. Before he actually does bring his hands towards his chest and look down. Quickly falling over forwards. Dead. This shocking Kendo. Muscular actually at least, his eyes darting in that direction. That kid just died. The hell was that? I see that you're finally, at least, somewhat competent. That being what Meliodas states. Him then landing. Midoriya getting up and turning around. You! What the hell are you doing here? Oh, what am I doing here? I should be telling you the same thing. Do you remember our agreement? Our agreement? Yes. You go to the land of the dead and find me a goddess soul. What do you have to say for yourself? Fine. Okay. We went there. Bullshit. We did. Listen, we sent duplicates. We sent like thousands, dude. I don't know what the exact number, but none of them found anything. And I'm just supposed to straight up believe you? I don't know what else to say to you. Besides, we did what we were told. Now, give us back David's shield. Oh, you want him? Him, bringing his hand up and revealing that the soul is there. This little blue object, David Shield's soul. At least most of it. Most of it? What did you do? Oh, nothing. If I took the entire thing, well, he'd be dead. Why do you think he still has a heartbeat? You bastard. You're clever, I'll give you that. I'm not clever. I just have the right insurance. So, tell me once again, did you or did you not find my goddess? We didn't find anything now, Midoriya turning his head. His attention at Kirishima. Meliodas quickly moving. As soon as Midoriya does actually turn back, there is Kendo being held up by her throat. This shocking Midoriya. Him actually just jerking forwards as he does go to charge in. If you charge in, well, how do I say this? Your little companion here dies. And if you do that giant trick again, well, you're still going to die. Just slower. Kendo, bring your hand up. Midoriya shouting for her not to do it. Before she just actually does bring her hand up to his wrist and try and fight back. Pitiful human. Now, Midoriya just asks him, what does he want? I want my goddess. Now, give me any evidence you have that you are telling the truth. Any evidence I have? What do you want, man? Now, while that is currently going on, we do have Deanne, who does actually pop up. Her being able to aim a certain holy weapon or sacred treasure. Now, as soon as she does actually hold this up, she fires it, hitting Muscular. As soon as Muscular is hit, he immediately stops. And his arm does actually begin to shrink back down. Meanwhile, Kirishima, him being so charged up for one for all, immediately just smacks Muscular across the face with his left arm at 100%. As soon as he does so, Muscular is sent flying away, smashing and landing somewhere in the forest. Meanwhile, she does turn her attention back towards the demon. Ah, I see. So the doll is finally here. You, use invasion now or else I will kill your friend. Listen to me. Deanne says, taking a step forwards. If you take another step, she is going to die. Okay. Her bring her hand up, pointing it directly at Midoriya and shooting a beam into his head. As soon as it does, it goes straight for Meliodas, him being on guard. As soon as it hits him in the head, he can see that Midoriya is telling the truth. Okay then. Him letting go of Kendo. As soon as that does happen, she immediately begins to back away and try to get away from Meliodas. The intent he has, that murderous aura, and the bloodlust just coming off of him. So casual to him, but to her it's intimidating as all hell. The guy's too strong. Can Midoriya even handle that guy? So you found nothing there. Well, what did you expect us to find? Listen, we did what you asked, now return his soul. I could do that, but still, it might be of some use to me. No. Midoriya screams at him that that was not part of their arrangement. Their arrangement was to find the goddess in the land of the dead. They did not find her there. That is not their fault. The goddess is still alive. And how exactly do you know that? Midoriya, don't. Alright, fine. I've talked to a goddess before. You have. Meliodas getting incredibly surprised. Midoriya, don't. As soon as Diane steps forwards, Meliodas zooms across the battlefield. As soon as Midoriya did turn his head, Meliodas was actually already holding Diane by her throat before bringing her back down. You need to learn to shut up and stop imitating humans. It's revolting. No, we're not letting you take them. Take them? What does she mean by them? The Goddess Clan. Well, they are rebuilding this giant horn in the middle of a forest. I see. And why exactly are they rebuilding? Because they know about you. Midoriya feeling ashamed of himself. He's giving away this information so freely. Shit. He knows what's coming next, doesn't he? Alright. Where in the world are they? We don't know. Lying to me again. We don't know. If you say that one more time, I will kill this little doll. Your little plaything. Magic won't even be able to bring her back. Midoriya telling Diane to show him. Diane going to bring her hand up. Meliodas squeezing tighter. As soon as she actually does turn her hand from one direction towards Meliodas, away towards Midoriya, and blast him, she shows him. They don't know. None of them were told the location. Now, only Merlin knows the location. And that actually does intrigue Meliodas. Not that Merlin knows, something else, in fact. Merlin has magical objects, some possessed by souls. What's to say one of those objects isn't something that has a goddess in them? Especially a little totem. One that might be on display somewhere. Interesting. Something that could have been taken from an altar. A little object. Perhaps. No. Meliodas tells Midoriya one thing. That this is the end of their conversation. So, him going to throw his hand upwards to make the soul vanish. As soon as he does, Midoriya does one thing. He uses Fox Hunt, hoping that this will work. Being able to steal the soul right as it disappeared, before quickly putting his hand behind his back. Now, Meliodas then goes on stating that Midoriya must bring him a magical object. And know this. If he does not bring him that magical object, he will kill all of his friends. In fact, he's actually quite impressed. Stealing the soul right in front of him. Ballsy. In fact, he might even make an interesting opponent one day. Now, just know this though. If we, well, when we win, you will be tortured for all of eternity. You will not know rest and you will not know fear until we tell you to die. We could just take your soul too and leave you somewhere. But that's no fun. So, consider this our current deal done with. Besides, him throwing his hand up over the forest, quickly just swooshing it from left to right, outwards. The forest immediately having its flames rise up a bit higher, and a bit more intensely, before saying that he has his own situation to deal with. Him flying away, before Midoriya can say another word. Now, pro heroes, they do eventually arrive, along with Midoriya in Class 1A trying their best to contain and get rid of this fire. Now, this fire, where it would have destroyed, I want to say, barely any of the forest, it almost completely, well, scorches the entire place. They were able to contain it away from highways and street areas, but yeah, it is not going to be the same. In fact, the camp might have to be moved to somewhere else next year, possibly just on UA grounds. Now, with that being said, there's also something else that happens. While looking for survivors, or at least villains and heroes alike, or Class 1A students, it is discovered that somebody, or at least a couple people, were actually taken by the villains. This pissing Midoriya off. Now, Midoriya, he's completely enraged as he walks through what's left of the forest. Nothing but burnt wood and, well, scorched earth. This place was destroyed by that damn villain. Now, they are at least looking around to make sure that there were no casualties that they're aware of. And, well, at least making sure that those students that are unaccounted for are at least, well, not among the destroyed. Now, or what's left of the forest. My bad. Now, with that being said, while Midoriya is actually looking, he does stumble upon, well, some whining sounds. Whenever he actually does begin to poke around a bit more in this area, he does find that a giant log actually did, well, land somewhere. Whenever he did actually pick it up and move it, a fox pup did come running out, immediately running past Midoriya's foot, and beginning to look around. Now, Midoriya bent down and looked into the hole that it just scurried out of. Nothing. That was it. Turning around and seeing it. As soon as it actually does turn to meet Midoriya's gaze, it actually does look around a bit more, somewhat scared. Midoriya just bringing his hand up and extending it out slowly. Hey, it's okay. It's alright. Do you remember me? Well, I'd be surprised if you did. Last night was pretty crazy, huh, little guy? Is your mother around? Probably not. She probably had to leave you behind. That sucks. So she could only save two. That's been hard for her, though. I guess you're all alone then. Midoriya being able to get a little bit closer. As soon as the pup does actually begin to sniff his hand, it begins to at least somewhat recognize Midoriya's scent. The smell of, well, I want to say a faint smell of meat. Now, Midoriya is actually able to pick up the fox. Why was I going to say puppy? Now, after Midoriya does do that, he does eventually meet back up with everyone. As soon as they realize that he's holding a baby fox, they try and tell Midoriya that they need to take that to an animal shelter, especially after what just happened. Midoriya is somewhat arguing. Yeah, he's not going to do that. Do you even know how to take care of an animal? Can't be that hard. I can look into it. Besides, he was abandoned by his mother. Or at least, should I hope he was abandoned? Young man, you can't just do that. Do you have any idea how expensive a permit for an animal like that is? No, but I can pay for it. You can't just do that. Now, Midoriya does not care. Anyone that tries to take the fox away from him will have their lights knocked out. Now, after a lot of things are sorted through, Midoriya does eventually get on the bus, taking the baby fox home and actually being able to look into it. Being able to pay for a lot of fees and basically take it to the vet. Being able to get it looked at. The fox is healthy, but they did actually have to trim away at some of its fur, cutting away at the burnt hair and actually cleaning them up a little bit. Now, with that being said, Midoriya now owns a fox. Or at least a fox baby. Foxling? I do not know the right term for this. Anyways, now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing night. Catch you guys in the next part.